Well, I guess earlier in my life I subscribed more to the whole if you have nothing to hide, what do you need privacy for sort of thing. And like I was totally in favor of privacy for things like I don't know, buying weed and like circumventing stupid zoning regulations and all of that. But like basically, I kind of believed that possibly outside of like censorship resistance applications, privacy didn't really uh, just matter that much, and people should just be proud of what they do. I started realizing that there are some situations where there is a legitimate need to be able to do things without the thing you're doing simultaneously being this kind of performance that you're putting on for an entire world. And like Robin Hanson wrote a really a good and huge book about this called The Elephant in the Brain a few months ago. And so like the idea of privacy as something that can kind of give people freedom to optimize for their own happiness instead of like constantly caring about how what they're doing looks in front of everyone else, I think is really valuable. I just realized that protecting your privacy along a lot of different dimensions is just something that a lot of people need, and probably everyone needs to at least some extent. I've been following the project almost since, well, even before the start. And I met Zooko for the first time back in 2013 at the first big Bitcoin conference. I guess first of all, it's important to keep in mind that like even Zcash in some ways is less private than cash, right? Like if we have a cash transaction in person, there is literally no trace of this that's happening in public. Whereas if you have a Zcash transaction, you're still leaking the timestamp. You're still possibly leaking IP addresses. The fact that you have a certain amount of Zcash whenever you end up converting it into some other currency. I definitely don't agree with this hypothesis that I think some people in law enforcement have, that like, oh my God, with this fancy new technology, the internet is, quote, going dark and we'll have like no way to understand what's going on in society like, at all, and crimes will become impossible to solve and so forth. Like I think the vision for Zcash and strong privacy on the internet is in some ways a lot more moderate than even people on both sides of the argument tend to think. It's ultimately a technology that brings balance to a world where the kind of fundamental patterns of technology